Another thing, as to what UPSC is expecting from the aspirants in the prelim stage. Like I said, UPSC is definitely trying to test your analytical skill. Like I said, in prelims, the static questions could be 30, but there are 25-30 analytical questions asked. And these analytical questions, nobody would have covered each and every statement that has been asked in UPSC while they are studying. So why is UPSC doing this? Like I said, it wants people with analytical skills, because as a bureaucrat, we will be given challenges, and when those challenges come, we need to think on spot. We need to do that critical thinking to solve it. So this is one of the stage where it wants to test that in candidates. Also, UPSC is trying to favor those candidates who is doing their homework. When I mean homework, I am speaking about PYQs. I remember in the year 2020, there were certain economic questions that were asked, and in the year 2021, when I gave prelims, 2 of those questions have been directly repeated. So someone who had solved 2020 questions, he would have directly attempted the 2021 questions. Similarly, in the year 2022, whatever the themes were, those options were framed as statements in 2023. So UPSC does this. Why is it doing this? Because they want you to do that homework on PYQs, and PYQs are your landmark thing. You have to go around it, you have to understand it to get good marks. And UPSC has promoted its PYQs year by year. Next, UPSC will test your character and your attitude. Attitude is the way you think about a particular thing. So UPSC, it will test your character through critical questions. What is the difference that we see when we are giving a Group A exam and a Group C exam? We know that Group A exam is going to be for higher administrative post. We know that Group C will be relative for lower positions. And we see that when we are attending this Group C sort of exams, there is more memory orientation that is being given, memory importance is being given. But in Group A exams, it is the analytical skills that is being tested. And it is for this thing that there are critical questions that will test your character and your attitude. When there are critical questions that have been asked, the questions which you are not aware of, the questions which you may not even understand when you study it for the first time. So when UPSC gives such sort of questions, it will test the candidate to see if the candidate will confidently try to attempt it. Will the candidate be confident to see what are the hidden hints or the pattern that is there in the question, or will the candidate lose his confidence and lose his temper and try to skip the question or attempting in a wrong way. This critical questions was tested in the year 2023 prelims paper. I personally remember myself that when I saw 2023 paper, there was this newer sort of thing of assertion and reasoning sort of questions. There was only 1, only 2, only 3 with a drastic increase of such numbers in the question. So when I saw the paper, the first thing that came to my mind, that if the paper is difficult, it will be difficult for everyone. And since the paper is so difficult, the cutoff is definitely going to decrease. So only thing that I had in my mind is, irrespective of how difficult the paper is going to be, my focus should be on giving the best on what knowledge I have. So this should have been the mindset. But I myself have spoken to so many people that when 2023 was their first attempt, or when 2023 was their second attempt, they saw the newer type of questions and they decided there itself that this is not my cup of tea. This is something that should not happen with you, irrespective of how the paper is. Do not lose your confidence. And UPSC is testing your character through these questions, and that is why these sort of questions have been asked. And UPSC, like I said, it will ask if you can understand a pattern. There might be hints between the questions. I think it was in the year 2017 prelims paper that there were 2 consecutive questions asked, and the option, I think it was one of the option that was similar option or the same option was present in both the questions. So in the first question, if the candidate had marked that option as correct, then in the second question that option wouldn't have been correct. So in that question, if an aspirant was aware, though he was not sure about the exact answer, in that question, if he was aware, if he was able to get the pattern, if he had marked both the options as same, suppose I think it was the name of the place with respect to Ashokan or Mauryan Empire, if he had marked the same place option present in both the question, In one question he would have got the answer as correct, in one question he would have got the answer as wrong. So that would be 2 minus 0.66, which is around 1.4. So he would have got that positive 1 marks, though he was not sure about both the questions. So this is how it wants even a certain degree of smart play by the aspirants. Second, decent knowledge and its application is what UPSC has been expecting rather than the PhD. Now many of them might not agree with the fact, because UPSC is dwelling deeper into the topics. It is true, because the UPSC syllabus itself has been framed and has been stable since a very long time. In geography, we know that UPSC ocean currents is a very important topic, but UPSC also wants to ask questions on ocean currents in a different way. It cannot ask it in the same way. Even in the mapping question, there were questions like countries surrounding Mediterranean Sea, countries surrounding Black Sea, but UPSC itself has to evolve, right? So it has to ask different sort of questions. So it will take Mediterranean Sea, but it will not ask the countries surrounding it. So what it did, it gave 4 countries and it gave 4 types of seas to be done in match the following. So UPSC will try to evolve, it will not be the same. So definitely the topics which are important, the topics which are repeatedly asked in UPSC PYQs, in those topics we need to dwell to a larger extent, but the topics which are less relevant or less asked in UPSC, we will have to dwell over it to a lesser percent. And decent knowledge is what UPSC has been expecting, because people, even with their first attempt, there are so many people who are clearing prelims with their first attempt. If it was about the depth of knowledge, then it should have happened that people with 4th and 5th attempt should have consecutively cleared, or it should have been that 4th or 5th attempt are clearing more and the first attempters should have been less, but that is not the case. And very important thing, UPSC will test your basics. There will be questions from your basics, from your physical geography part, from your polity part, from your economy, banking, balance of payment part, where it will test your basics. The basics have to be strong, because these are the stepping stones. Once your basics are strong, then comes the guesswork part, because only if your basics are strong, then only you can make smart guesswork. Without that, you will be making only guesswork, which is not smart.